Mm. Good morning there,
Morning,
Miss Megan.
morning,
Scott
Scott.
Page
How's it
here.
going? Good to have you. How you
Uh,
feeling?
I'm feeling fine. Just sort of waking up, drinking some coffee, trying to get the brain cells to start
I
working.
know it's early for you guys. We got to work with time zones here. It's about 5 p.m. my time. I know a couple people were joining from other countries around the world, so it's so cool to have, all these amazing people in the house. Illa unfortunately won't be joining us because he woke up with a stomach bug, but I'm super excited to get started with you guys. We're just gonna wait a few more minutes. In the meantime, Spotty, nice to have you on the show. How you doing?
Hey, Megan, I'm great. Doing well. How are you doing?
Good. I know you guys were just recently relocating to New York. Are you still in Miami, or have you guys finished now? You're in New York, or where are you at in the world?
Yeah, we're in New York now. Yeah, it's been a long few days, but we're here. We got a lot of boxes. We're in a house full of boxes, but we're here safe and sound, which is great.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I know it. I know the feeling. It's not easy. So glad that you took the time to come on here and kind of do these spaces, because I think that you and Scott, you have such important voices in this movement, and I really want people to kind of hear about what we discussed on both of your podcasts. And I'll make that intro in a few minutes as we wait for people to jump on. But man, you guys have just been absolute trailblazers in this movement. So it's super cool.
Thank you very much. I feel like I'm very thankful to know Mr. Spotty. We have to start a band, buddy. I think it needs to be Scotty Spotty and the let's see the Hankies. No, the Pimples or something.
I love it. That's alpha, super alpha.
Yeah, I think your next drop has to be in collaboration with Scott Page.
Yep, we've talked about it. We just haven't done it yet, but we definitely need to do something.
Oh yeah, so cool. I'm really glad to have you guys on. We've also got Tune.fm on board today. It's powering this session and also all of the music stuff that we're doing, because I'm always looking for partners who are doing meaningful things in the space to propel us forward. So Tune FM is like the Web3 of Spotify. I'll let Andrew do the introduction for that a little bit later when we come up to that. But I think we are just about ready to get moving here. And yeah, it's a great way to start the Monday. Just super motivational. I got to tell you, Scott, I was just going over your episode with our editors, and Spotty, you too. There's so many powerful moments. I feel that we could pack that into a masterclass on both your ends.
Wow.
I mean, we need to figure that out, because musicians just get so much alpha from this. It's insane.
Oh gosh, thanks. That sounds like a plan. Let's do it. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, so I think we are ready to just get this kicked off and started. So thank you guys all for joining. My name is Megan Nilsson. I'll be your host today. I am a high-end crypto and NFT consultant, currently on a world speaking tour, doing keynote speeches and fireside chats around the world. I'm also hosting conferences, which is why, if my Wi-Fi drops out, I'm currently in Morocco, about to host a conference tomorrow called the Nakamoto Forum. So please forgive me. But yes, so I just launched my podcast, the Crypto Megan podcast. The link is now in the description. Thank you so much, Spotty and Scott, for being here. Spotty is the world's first and only crypto punk rapper doing insane things in the space. Just launched a collaboration song with Snoop Dogg called The King's Alpha. Scott Page, legendary musician from bands like Pink Floyd, Tramp and Toto, and also entrepreneur. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We are going to have a blast, and we're going to get right into it, basically. Just exploring, since it's going to be you two and Illa's not here, I think we can touch on a lot of the things that we discussed in the podcast for people who maybe haven't seen it yet, or kind of delve deeper into that. But just to open up this conversation, I'd like to start on, the differences but yet similarities on how you guys both got started in Web3 music. And I know, Spotty, you had your introduction from NBA Top Shot and then invested in the CryptoPunks, and your journey took you through there. And Scott, as an entrepreneur, you were naturally looking for ways to be able to, make music more efficient and better for artists, because the models currently we have in the space are not altogether, they're broken. Let's just put it that way. So I don't know if you guys can just give a little bit of an intro, and kind of we'll just kick the discussion off by talking about these topics.
Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
I'll jump in.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Scott Page here. Yeah, I've been I've been have basically had three careers in my mind when I was growing up, which is kind of interesting. I wanted to do music in the beginning, then second, get into business, and then third, into documentaries and kind of do that. So through my life, I've been collecting and pulling things together that I wanted to put together. Now that I've found NFTs, I've jumped into this space big time. This is the new documentary space and a new way to kind of deliver and get your story out there. But yeah, I've been in the music space for a long time. I got lucky that I got in an organization back in about 2009, 10, maybe. Oh, actually, it was way earlier than that. It was called Metal Media Entertainment Technology Artist Leaders. A guy by the name of Ken Rakowski ran that. Through that organization, it was like a TED Talk style of an event that happens every Saturday. We get together and we talk. In that group was a serious group of folks in the blockchain and Bitcoin space. It was Brock Pierce and Michael Turpin and William Quigley. All those guys, sort of the OGs in that space. Because of that, I started getting into the crypto area around 2011, 2012. Um, as a serial entrepreneur, I'll just real quick, my background back. I grew up in the music business. I got really into companies. I'm on my fourth company right now. I was lucky to take one of the companies public, which was called Seventh Level, with my business partners, Bob Ezrin, who produced, all the Pink Floyd stuff, and George Grayson, who was running one of the largest software companies at that time called Micrographics. So my background then got heavily into the multimedia space. And one of the things I'm pretty much most proud of actually is, along with Richard Merrick, who was our CTO, and myself, we produced the world's first interactive musical cartoon that started Howie Mandel back in the 1992, 91, 92, 92. And we actually sold 11 million units of that. It was a big deal. We took our company public on that. So got a chance to be in the public sector, kind of built around music. For my career, I've been really focused on the kind of the combination of entertainment and technology. Through that, I've launched four companies, and then really got into this crypto space. And then around almost 3 years ago, really saw this NFT space. Didn't quite get it at first. I was still kind of like, what's the deal with these little JPEGs and stuff? And then once I started to really take a deeper dive and realize the power of NFTs, what they really represent, they're not we go way beyond the ape, right? It's not just a JPEG, all the rights, roles, permissions you can build into these things. And really started to take a look at this and realize that it was very much my background in multimedia and designing and building products, building games, and doing all the Monty Python series and all of that really got me into where NFTs are at. And because they're, I believe, one of the greatest storytelling devices out there, this is, and how you can program them and build experiences on top of them. I think it's really one of the next big things. So background really is coming out of entertainment, got into the technology space, got lucky to be around the OGs in the early days. And that's kind of where I'm at now with this. And just really looking at ways for NFTs, thinking of them as access control, experiences, points, loyalty systems, and all those types of things. So yeah, that's sort of how I got back into this space, or got
Cool.
into the
Thanks.
space.
Thank you, Scott. Man, that was like so much information to unpack. But we're going to go over this in a little bit, but you said on the podcast that you're just such a grinder. You put yourself out there, you really want to learn, and you take this stuff seriously, and you just give it your all. And so you told me you went from, well, your self-proclaimed definition of the worst in the band to a literal rock star, right? Like, so we're going to hear about your journey in a minute, but thank you for giving your background. So we'll come back to that. Spottie, let's pass the mic to you.
Yeah, so my journey is definitely unique in that I was doing music full time about a decade ago, and it wasn't really paying the bills. And so I basically put that on pause. At the time, I thought I was putting it in totally on permanent stop, but it turns out it was on pause, because then back in 2020 during COVID, I ended up I had been working in advertising for several years after giving up on music, and ended up losing my day job during COVID, stumbling into NFTs through NBA Top Shot, as you had mentioned. And then that was January of 2021. And then in February, I am starting to hear about these CryptoPunks. I see Mark Cuban on YouTube saying they're the rookie card of NFTs, they're priceless, et cetera, et cetera. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to buy one of these things. So I purchased a CryptoPunk, which is what you see as my profile picture right now. And shortly after that, I started realizing, you know what, I have people following me on Twitter just because I have this CryptoPunk, and I have people, in tune or interested in what I'm saying just because of this silly CryptoPunk. And that's when, the wheels started turning in my head, and I started thinking like a musician or an artist and thinking, it's really, really not common for an artist to have like a built-in audience. It's not common for an artist or anyone to just have people interested in what they have to say just by virtue of their profile picture, or a community that they're a part of. And so that's when I decided, I didn't see anybody really doing too much with the intellectual property of the CryptoPunks. This was before the Bored Apes, so it was kind of before people were really thinking about the intellectual property of these little profile pictures. And so that's when I said, you know what, I'm going to make my CryptoPunk a character. There's going to be, we're going to bring him to life. He has spots on his face, so his name is Spottie Wifi. And I'm not an animator, I'm not a novelist, I'm not a filmmaker, but I can rap, so he's the CryptoPunk rapper. And that was basically the genesis of it. So I purchased this CryptoPunk in February of 21. We put out the first song in April of 21. And by August, we had an album. So it's this very nerdy concept album about a CryptoPunk rapper living his life in the metaverse. And we then packaged that as an NFT collection. So there were 7 songs on the album. And we took those 7 songs, we made a bunch of remixes, and we turned them into 2,000 NFTs. So a collection of 2,000 NFT songs. Some of them were on the album. Some of them are really rare remixes, including some one-of-ones. Every single song, every single remix has its own unique artwork. And you get a vinyl record if you purchase it. You get a copyright license, so you can use the song or the music in your film, your television show, your video game, your advertisement, whatever you want to use it in. You can remix it. I'll give you the stems, and if you come into my Discord. And then, we throw events, we do shows, and sometimes, you get early access to tickets or free tickets if you have the NFT, different things like that. And that ended up selling out immediately, sold out 60 Ethereum in 60 seconds. At that time, that was about $200,000. And basically, unintentionally became a case study for the 1,000 fan theory, because which the 1,000 true fan theory is the idea that you don't need millions of fans as an artist. You just need 1,000 fans that support you. If you have 1,000 fans that are willing to spend $100 on your content in a year, then you're a 6-figure artist. I had 700 collectors, not even 1,000, but I had 700 collectors and supporters that purchased those 2,000 NFTs at that time. And that $200,000 was the equivalent of 50 million streams on Spotify for a US artist. And I had nowhere near that. So it just became a case study. And ever since then, it's become my full-time thing. And I've been blessed to be able to work with some really amazing and legendary people and meet and get to know some legendary people, including Scott, along the way. And I'm just very, very grateful for, the last 2 years and everything that it's brought.
Wow, that is just insane. And I had the same reaction on the podcast. Like, this is just mind blowing. You guys are absolute trailblazers in this space. I was at a conference in Canada, Vancouver, not too long ago, where I saw this live artist. She was doing, live music, acoustic guitar singing. I talked to her afterwards and I said, hey, have you ever heard about, doing music through NFTs? And then she's like, what is that? And she had told me that she had actually injured her voice from over singing to try to make scraps to get by, not even to make a living. And so she had no idea what NFTs were, completely foreign to this whole world. And so I think man, if we can propel this message forward of what you guys have done, which you paved the way to be able to do for musicians, I mean, this is a revolution. It's why I named the space the Web3 Revolution. It's just a question of getting that message out there. But Spottie, you dropping that song when you had 10,000 streams and, you know, less than 10,000 Twitter followers, 5,000. I mean, that's insane, right? I mean, where else can you do that? It's like you, first of all, you growth hacked the community of the CryptoPunks, which is genius, which goes along with what Scott said about, you know, it's going beyond the ape. It's actually a community thing. So you use that as your audience, and you're talking about the 1,000 true fan theory, which I believe all artists should be familiar with, because you don't have to have millions of followers. You don't have to be, you know, focused on that. You can focus on that. And Scott will segue to you in a minute about, you know, you took it one notch further and you said the 1,000 true fans can actually be 200 super fans, because you told us about, you know, in our podcast, a girl who made you know, her living for the year based off of her like 200 super fans. So this is a very powerful concept.
Yeah, no question. I mean, I've been a big fan of the 1,000 True Fan model. That was Kevin Kelly from Wired Magazine. But yeah, what we're finding is this space. I mean, we're moving into an area where what I say, it's all about building a hive. And I always say, if you want to survive, you got to build a hive. That's the game now. It's not about millions of people. It's about, you know, 100, 200, 300, 1,000 people that really care about what you have and what you're doing. And yeah, that story of that girl, I real quick, I'll tell that because I tell that in every podcast because I think this is so profound. She gets up. She's 19 years old. We're at this NFT meetup here in Los Angeles, and she says, "I'm 19 years old. I'm a photographer, and I love photography. All I do is eat, drink, sleep photography every day. And I got into NFTs 9 months ago." And she says, "Now I'm actually paying my house payment. I'm not my rent and my car payment, and I live 100% off of my NFTs." But then she went and she said, "And I carved off a small portion of my smart contracts for my local community center." And she was so proud. She says, "I already gave them 2.5 ETH." And at that time, an ETH was, you know, that was basically $10,000 at the time. So I always call this the people's movement, because how many 19-year-old artists that people don't really know can make a living off of their art and at the same time be able to give, you know, $10,000 to their local community center? This truly is the people's movement. I mean, the power of NFTs is so profound when you start to really dive into it, because you got dynamic NFTs, you've got ways that you can build stories into them. You can have them programmable so that they can change on certain times, dates. They're, you know, you got a secondary market. You can build with people. You got this little robot network over on the side called the blockchain handling all your transactions. So I think once people start to realize the power of this, I think every business, I think everything you're going to see, doesn't matter whether you're a hair salon or a yoga studio or I really don't. It's just it is the new model that I believe will start to take off once we can start onboarding more people from the Web 2 world.
Oh yeah, that I mean, so much alpha right there, and what you said as well. We like it is the new model, and what you said at the end is another thing I wanted to focus on, and that you can let people build on the things you put out there, and it's a win-win for you because you can take royalties on that as well. And so
Yeah.
it's just this whole concept, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's what's powerful is exactly how they can be built and used, and the contract, right? You can, like I said, I could build an NFT that changes at a specific time every year for the next 100 years. You know, I could build a greeting card for, if I had a daughter, I could leave her a message for the next 100 years, and it would change on her birthday every day. So you can see how you can build businesses models on top of these on top of NFTs, because really it's just a contract at the end of the day with the rights and the roles and permissions. And so now I have a vehicle where I can create something and push it out to my audience and let them build on top of it, you know. And from that, we can all share and grow and live, you know, kind of lift all boats at the same time. So it's a very powerful thing. And it is really, like you said, it is about the community. And truthfully, that's for me why I'm so into this thing, is because of the community. I mean, I feel 30 years younger hanging out with everybody. It's the most exciting space. I eat, drink, sleep this space every day. This is what I do now, and I'm very thankful for it. And I'm going to high five everybody out there that's listening, because you guys are the pioneers. You're in this game. And we, the people, need to take back the power of what this means, because this gives us the power to basically start to take back the power of the currency, the relationship, and start to own everything, right? And we're at a place right now where we got to be very careful. We're being pushed into a centralized world where we need to stay as decentralized as we possibly can so that we can keep that freedom for the people. So anyway, exciting times, very exciting times.
Oh, yes. And the freedom is so important. And we just like this power that we have now. Spottie, I mean, you've been able to growth hack this community, like I said before, like nobody else. And you also mentioned that, you know, it's about going out there and laying brick by brick the foundation to be able to have this group of true fans and super fans. And I mean, you've just been masterfully able to do this. I mean, how have been some of the most powerful, or what are some of the most powerful tips you would give artists right now to be able to build that community like you have?
You know, I think it's a lot of it is you know, man, okay, good question. It's a lot of it is collaboration. You know, if you think about what I did with my CryptoPunk, I was creating content or creating music that was celebrating the culture of the CryptoPunks or celebrating the community of the CryptoPunks. I did the same thing with Bored Apes, you know, in May of 2021, and then I've done that a lot with the Bored Apes. You know, I've performed at Ape Fest. I own Bored Apes, things like that. I've done it with, and not just, you know, a lot of listeners might say, well, CryptoPunks, Bored Apes, you know, that's cost prohibitive. I've done it with Gutter Cats. I've done it with other collections as well. I did it with Pepe Coin. You know what I mean? Like I've done it with a lot of different things. So I would say it's a combination to me of like showing up every day, like Scott was saying, eat, sleep, breathe this space as much as I can. Try to spot what I don't love talking about trends. I don't love the word trends, but just trying to spot what's on the come up, what's on the rise, what are people talking about, what's going to be the next thing. Try to be early to it and try to bring value to the people that are interested in it. You know, we got Cassius on stage. You know, Cassius and I are going to collaborate eventually. Even just, you know, he did a cameo in my new music video that's coming out in a few weeks, and just figuring out different ways that when you find somebody that's like-minded, when you find somebody that's creative, or it might not even be somebody, it might be a community, you know, figure out ways to support each other, because this space right now is so small that if you show love, like it, it comes back to you. You know, it might not come back to you in the form that you expect or from the direction that you expect or whatever, but I have just found that, like, by supporting different communities and by collaborating, it always comes back to me, you know. So that's just been my thing. I know there's other examples that I can't quite think of right now, but you know, even partnerships with companies, you know, supporting companies that you see, or organizations that are doing things in a way that you admire, in a way that you think is positive for the community. All of those things in this space, I have found, like, if you show love, you get love. It gets reciprocated.
Wow, I love that. If you show love, you get love, everyone. That's what it's about. And speaking of putting yourself out there and not knowing where it's headed, I mean, you put yourself out there in such a way that you got the compliment of your whole career when Snoop Dogg jumped on and was like, "Hey, Spottie, you're the #1 guy. You taught me how to do this thing. You welcomed me to blockchain. Thank you so much." I mean, that's in the podcast episode with Spottie too, by the way. Just to take a step back for a minute, please follow all the speakers on this show. Go ahead and retweet the spaces and share, because this is such valuable information, and we need this message to be propelled forward. So yeah, I mean, like, he jumped on and he gave you that comment, and it was just so, I mean, that must have been such an insane moment for you. And you can't plan for those things. You can't expect that. By showing up day in and day out, by doing these spaces, by connecting with people one by one at all these events, you put in that hard work and you're getting back, you know, everything that comes with that. So it's really beautiful to see. It's really amazing. And, you know, I'd like to actually hear a word from Cassius, who's on the show, also very involved in the whole Web3 space, doing amazing things with music and Web3. And then we'll hear from DJ Warrior, our other guest speaker.
Hey, thanks for having me, Megan.
Nice to have you.
I appreciate being on here. I'd like to support everything that Megan, Spottie are doing. Good friends in the Web3 space. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm Cassius Cuvée. I'm a recording artist from Oakland, but I also have a show called Pop and Crypto. I like to, jokingly call myself the DJ Khaled of crypto because I'm always promoting. So anytime I see something hot, something I like in Web3, I'm always going to give it a shout out, show love. I like to highlight all the cool people in the space. So one thing that I wanted to say is I think we're going through what I call a renaissance period right now in human history where art, tech, and finance have combined in a way that we've never really seen before through the power of blockchain technology. And it's a hell of a thing. This room, I know, is mostly artists. And it's a hell of a thing that when we look back in history, we're going to say that artists help drive forward the actual technology of something that's as important as blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology, that I believe is going to basically be, the third iteration of the internet, why we call it Web3. So I love that. I love that artists are having such a big hand in it. And specifically, a lot of stuff that Scott was talking about is having ownership of our art. That's very important. And through the power of NFTs, which again, I'm probably speaking to the choir here a lot, but this is a message that should be repeated as much as possible because we know there's still such a small marketplace globally for people who understand what NFTs really are. And we're the folks right now, by the way, we're the high quality folks right now are here during a bear market or a lull market. I jokingly call it sometimes, but we're the folks who are going to keep that narrative alive and keep spreading the education right now when a lot of folks aren't paying attention. So I commend everybody who's in this space right now. But, partnering up or just, hanging out with Spottie down at NFTLA. We shot a music video. His music video down there is coming out down at Venice Beach. It's going to be dope. You guys got to love it. Appreciate you for having me in the video, Spottie. And anybody else, you guys are into music or whatever, hit me up. I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff. Trying to get on some bigger platforms here and probably bring all the music people together in Web3. So thanks for having me on, Megan.
Oh, Cassius, it's amazing to hear from you. You're like one of my favorites in the space too. You always bring the positive energy and a big energy, and you get us all amped up for all the cool things going on. And I love what you said about the bear market. I mean, just look around, man. These spaces are going to be packed. Things are going to go insane. There's going to be so much noise, but right now is the time to position yourself. So whether you're an artist, you're thinking about getting a career in the space, or you just want to learn and get ahead of the curve. I mean, this is where it's at. It's the hard work, it's the grinding that's done right now. And Cassius is most certainly doing that. I'm so excited to see your collaboration with Spottie. That's going to be so awesome. So thanks for joining us. We're going to hear from DJ Warrior, and then we're going to hear from Tune FM. DJ Warrior, nice to have you here today. I don't actually know much about you, so I'm excited to hear a little more.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me up here. I just want to come here and because I knew you were gonna have this show with Spottie and everyone else. So I was like, I just want to come listen and learn. So I mean, I'm a blockchain enthusiast for many years. I love the tech side of things and all the problems it could solve, etc. And as far the music side of things, I've just watched it for the last 2 years, like all the movement in the NFT world with music, right? And all these people are coming together and be able to actually build out their own individual communities and collaborate. And like you guys are saying earlier, you don't need millions of fans. You could have 1,000 fans, 2,000 fans. This is a great way for anyone to be able to make a living, what Scottie was saying, right? So all those things really excited me, and I love the technology and all the things that people are able to do with the IP rights. So I'm like, okay, I should get back into music because last few years I've just been in the ghost kitchen business model. That's where I'm at. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis. I have a bunch of virtual restaurants in LA and other markets like San Antonio and Austin. And I'm also a professional UX designer. But my background is 20 years professionally in the music business as a DJ. I started as a DJ. Then I started a marketing company. Then I did a platform like livemixtape.com. Sold that back in 2009. That was many moons ago. Then I went to the electronic realm with electronic music with different aliases just to do things underground and have more freedom because I went from underground to like in the whole mainstream world. And, for many years, I didn't really like the pay structure and what I was seeing that was internally happening to a lot of the artists and the indie labels. So I just kind of like left that game. So these days, I'm all 100% into this blockchain thing and hopefully work on a product. Besides that, I have an agency where we provide UI, UX design for a lot of different products and services, small ones to SMEs to big ones to small ones, right? So yeah, I just wanted to hop in and just really listen, and then hopefully, soon enough, I'll put out some music on NFT and get back in doing radio and shows and stuff like that. It's really a timing thing. And another thing I just wanted to say, Spottie, man, we have a really good mutual friend, which is Junior, Flourish and Prosper. I was just hanging out with him on his birthday, not this past Saturday, the week before. That's like my brother from another mother. We go about 22 years back. If you ask him, he'll tell you like all the things that we accomplished in the entertainment business back in the days. So yeah, that's my little story, right? I just want to listen and learn, and I just was able to connect with so many great people here. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see all these things go, continue to grow.
Wow, that's so cool. Such an awesome story. I'm glad you hopped up in today. And that's the thing about the Web3 spaces. We're so much more, just connected through these kind of like, I know, Scott, you called it the 24-hour Twitter cocktail party or something
Yeah,
like that on our podcast.
it's a worldwide broadcast network in your hand. It's like Twitter's like a 24-hour cocktail party. You can jump
I
on
love that.
anytime and start building audience, start building relationships, because the whole game is about relationships. And the first thing is influencing influencers. That's rule number one. You got to start there first. Once you got that, that's how you kind of grow your business. Yeah, so we have all these tools now. We've got a direct to consumer business. Now we got a tool set with NFTs to basically manage that direct to consumer relationship. I mean, this is crazy what's about to go down. And I just real quick on the education part, I wanted to throw out again. I'm sure most of the people here are pretty savvy in this space, but if they're looking for things, I'm always looking for ways to bring people into the space, the web from Web 2 into Web 3. And there's two things I recommend. One is if you go to Whiteboard Crypto, type that into Google or into YouTube, and there's these little 7 to 15 minute whiteboard sessions on, what is Bitcoin, how to create an NFT, all those little things that you can learn. It's a great way to learn because really the game right now is to just get educated. The other one is there's a girl by the name of Crypto Casey. I would really suggest she's one of the best teachers I've seen in this space. If you type in Crypto Casey, and she's got a great one on, what is Bitcoin, the beginning basics of this stuff, which I turn on to everybody, to what I'll call the normies, the people that are just started getting into this space. It's a great educational tool. She's incredible the way she describes and breaks things down. So that little link, that one link will get you go down the rabbit hole because she links up to a bunch of other things. So anyway, I just wanted to give that out to the folks because, we've got to onboard. So if you want to onboard somebody, these are two great tool sets to help people start to understand the power of where we're at and where currency's going, and how we got a shot here to take back the power back into the hands of the people.
Oh, I love that, Scott. And it is all about education. I mean, that is one of the most important points of this whole thing. So that's what we're here for. DJ Warrior, I know you had your hand up. Did you want to add to that?
Oh, basically, actually, just want to say what Scotty said. Crypto Casey is my favorite on YouTube. I've been watching her for 4 years, but she is the best teacher. Like the way she
Yeah.
just breaks it down. I feel like she's one of the most transparent one on YouTube.
Yep.
Out of many ones that are great, but to me, she's my top one. Like, so Scott, we got something in common over here.
Oh
We're
yeah. I mean,
excited to watch
That's really
her. Yeah,
cool.
she's
I
No,
love her.
that's
I
super
love her.
cool. And,
I love her.
education and breaking it down is so important.
Yep.
And there's so many ways to do it. And, like one of the ways that I chose is by having awesome people like you guys on my podcast so that maybe if, your fans are listening and they are just interested in you as a person, they'll hear about the Web3 side in an entertaining way. And a big part of this is coming from reputable sources that are trustworthy, that are putting themselves out there and doing quality work day in and day out. And so I think it's really cool to highlight those kind of people in the spaces for sure. And Scott, real quick, we're going to hear from Tune FM now, but one of the topics that I wanted to go over was what you broke down in the podcast about the streaming model and how it's so broken for artists. Can you run through some of those? I know you had some stats on what it would take for an artist to make money on Spotify as it is now.
Yeah. First of all, the streaming business for most artists is the horrible business. I mean, there's, what is it? I think it breaks down to like about $3,000 to $5,000 for a million streams. But the only problem is once you look at the data, that especially with the hundreds of thousands of songs going up every day, that only 2 to 3% of the entire Spotify catalog even reaches a million streams. So it's a really horrible business model for artists. Now, it doesn't mean you don't want to still be on those and go after that, but that's why building this direct to consumer business model, so built around an NFT system, is just such a much better way to generate revenue. And again, it's not about how many millions you have now. It's about building that hive of like-minded people that care about what you do, that influencer, that super fan network. And what's beautiful, it goes back to that thing. It doesn't take that many people to create a living. It's just all about creating the story. I mean, everything is around story, right? That's why people buy NFTs, because of the story and what's around it and the utility and all of that. So for artists, if you start learning that model, be on the streaming business, but it's not a good business for most artists. I mean, I have all my friends that obviously being in the music business for so many years, are all over me like, what do I do? I can't make any money anymore. How does this work? So we're starting to see more and more artists starting to look for alternatives and starting to jump into this space. But
Yeah, because
yeah,
I know you said it was like $5,000 for what? I mean, you broke
a
down the
million.
statistics.
Yeah, it was 1 million streams is roughly between 3 and 5,000. Spotty would probably know better what it is today, but it's roughly in that. But the problem is
Wow.
it's only 2 to 3% of the entire Spotify catalog even reaches 1 million streams.
So the
So
goal here is to be able to reach your fans directly. And I think this is the good moment to segue over to Tune FM, which is why I brought them in.
yep.
Basically, it's like instead of having, paying a subscription fee, which you pay on Spotify, it's micro payments that go to your favorite artist that you want to listen to, that adds up to a subscription fee, maybe monthly. And Tune FM will explain this better than I can, but you're supporting the artist directly instead of supporting Spotify and letting them do the dealings after that, right? So I'm really excited to hear from Tune FM on their process and how they've been able to, facilitate that for artists.
Sure. Thanks to Megan for having me on. Yeah, basically what Scott was saying is true, that and Spotty, that you need literally millions of streams and you can't even break minimum wage on Spotify. So we're flipping the table on that and enabling artists to earn up to 100 times more for their stream, so they can actually earn a living from their music streaming. That's the main way interacted with. But then we go take it a step further, and we've really built a robust set of tools to enable artists to mint music NFTs that really incorporate all the cool features that you can do with NFTs. You can drop an entire album, you can have token gated unlockable perks and experiences, stuff like backstage passes, meetups, dinners, VIP packages, all kinds of cool stuff that you can attach to NFTs. And then because we're doing the streaming royalty micropayments for every second that your music is streamed, you can even attach a portion of those streaming royalties to the NFTs as well. So you can really build out these multi-tiered, multimedia, multi-file drops. You can have an entire album with the music video, with the artwork, with the different levels of perks as part of your NFT drop on Tune FM. And you can also earn a lot more from the streaming itself. So it's just part of the different tools that we're putting together, that we're building to enable artists to really make way more money in the music industry than ever before. And so, like DJ Warrior was saying, like we're fixing the payment system of the music industry by really modernizing how music payments works, and that's only now possible with tokenization and micropayments and NFTs. And we're really putting the power back in the hands of the artists. So the artists actually have all the leverage now, and they don't necessarily need a label. They don't need the industry, these armies of lawyers and accountants to account for making a pittance for millions of streams. And like we've been talking about, it's the 1,000 fan theory has now come down to the 100 fan theory, that you only really need 100 super fans as part of your hive to really keep you going through any storm, crypto winter, or anything. And I see we have a lot of our Hive members here from our Jam Wells are in the audience as well, supporting us. And, love to support what you're doing with the new podcast. And I've seen, we actually spoke on a panel together at NFTLA with Scott. And that's how this all sort of kicked off. And I've been seeing Spotty at pretty much every NFT conference, and Miami NFT Week, NFTLA, and everything. So, it's all part of the same community and family here, and we're all trying to help each other out, and we're hopefully the destination that all artists and all crypto and Web3 artists come to do their future drops. And we're working with a ton of A-list celebrities as well, Tribe Called Quest, Rufus Du Sol, and a bunch of others, including the Michael Jackson estate, the Tupac estate, the Biggie Smalls estate. And so it's even, posthumously, even these legacy catalogs that haven't been fully monetized, are up and coming artists who people haven't heard of, and the A-list artists that are big names who want to stay cutting edge and monetize their fan base in new ways. So that's what we're trying to bring to the table. And thanks for having me on.
Oh, that's super cool. And the reason why, you know, I wanted to work with you guys and bring this to light is because as far as I know, and through my research, you're the most advanced in the space as far as what you can facilitate to the artists. And also, I just love your model and I love, you know, how things are going and how you can really make that a space for artists to build their business on. And it's like you said, Scott, artists need to approach this space as if it were a startup business, right? Because a lot of artists are, this was part of our podcast as well. And they say, no, I don't want to sell out. I don't want to do this and that. But in reality, you need to make that revenue to be able to go and make great music, right? I mean, that's just what it
Yeah.
is.
I mean, I always tell, first question I always ask an artist, is this a business or a hobby? Right? Hobbies, you know, businesses make money and hobbies are fun. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. Hobbies are wonderful. They're fantastic, but you have to make that distinction. And then the fans, are they fans? Well, they're really customers. So you have to really figure out how to serve those people, especially if you want to generate revenue. Like I said, the beautiful part is it's down to 100 people now. It's not down to a million people that I got to have to make money. So this is a totally different game, and it's the best thing that's ever come along for artists in my lifetime, and the power of this is beyond words. And what Tune FM's doing is fantastic. I mean, they're basically starting to make it very simple for any artist to get in the game and start to learn. But everything is about education right now. The most important thing is to educate, and learn, because these models are shifting daily, because you can build so many unique ways to basically build tokenomics into your tokens to create these experiences. Again, I believe NFTs should be called experiences, because they can live, they can grow, they have access control, they have rewards, loyalty, they have resale value. I mean, when you think about it, once I gather my NFTs, I can take it to a secondary market. I mean, that changes the game big time, right? I mean, before, the only secondary market we had, if I bought a record, was to take it to the record store and they'll maybe give me 50% on, or some dollar for my album that I bought. So that was my thing. Now I get to own a piece of that artist, have that ownership of that particular thing. And you know, again, people always talk about, well, you have to be famous and big in order to make this, you know, to really make this work. And actually, it's exactly the opposite. It's really about small groups of people that really care about what you're doing. That super fan, and your job is to figure out, how do I create experiences with these NFTs and create value and ownership? Because again, if you're a new up and coming artist and you got your super fans and they're buying your NFTs, they're buying those. They may hold those for a while. You blow up, all of a sudden that has value. So it's the first time where the audience and the artist can really kind of grow together and build businesses together on top of these tokens, and it's just, you know, incredible opportunity.
Yeah, you really broke it down about, you know, how artists need to start positioning themselves to be able to go out and create that greatness, to make this great music, to have the resources to do this. I think you said something along the lines of, if you want to quit working at Starbucks and start making music full time, we got to approach this differently. So I really like how you break that down. And I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome our other speakers, Emma, Andrew from Shiller, another company that I've been looking to. I'm partnered with, and I'm really excited about what they're doing. Cantoria, I see you have your hand up there, so let's just hear from you guys. It's really great to have you on the show, and thanks for joining the conversation.
Yeah, sure, thanks. I was just curious for Tune FM. I guess the two main questions I have is, when you're doing these micropayments out to artists, what are the margins looking like on your end? Like, how does this look sustainable from your end in the long term? Or are you looking at trying to get this to be a user acquisition at first and then looking at margins later?
Well, we're really looking at it in the sense of margins, but our business model is such that artists keep 90% of everything that they make. So the micropayments are actually powered by our native token, the Jam token, which is run on Hedera Hashgraph. So the fees for transferring tokens are 1/1000th of a penny or less. And so we can actually do micropayments, which you can't really do with any Ethereum-based token. And so the Jam is listed on over 20 exchanges globally. So we have a good deal of liquidity to get artists paid. And artists keep 90% of everything, whether it's a fraction of a penny from a stream or thousands of dollars from an NFT sale. We keep it the same. So artists are really in control.
Got it. And then I guess that leads into my second question. Is the liquidity and formation of your token outside of the United States?
All of the exchanges that we're currently on are non-US exchanges.
Okay.
Yes.
No. I meant the shell company that is holding the resources for the token itself for Tune FM. Is that based in the United States or no?
We have a Cayman entity for all token related operations.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just making sure, just because, I mean, not saying that, this is not financial or legal advice for anyone listening, but yeah, releasing a token in the United States is a big no-no right now.
Okay, so we're going to keep the conversation toward, the good things that Tune FM is doing. Of course, we're going to work out all of the stuff along the way. But, I really love what they're doing as far as trying to empower the artists. And from what I've seen, no other music platform has done that. No other music platform has allowed musicians to get 90% of everything that's going on. And I think you're doing a fantastic job. These are, like Scott says, this is the lean startup model. You've got to go with the viable option of the product that's available and build on that. And I think you guys are doing an absolutely fantastic job. Andrew, would love to hear from you.
Hey Megan, how you doing? Thanks for hosting. What a great room. Tune FM, love that. I don't know why you're not in every conversation in every music space that I'm in. So happy to help spread the word in that. Spottie, what's up? Glad to see you've moved out east. Let's meet up for lunch. I'm also in New York, so I'll come and find you wherever you're at. Or you can come up to me for a barbecue, whatever you want. Scott, great to be in a space with you. I've seen you at a few live events, but never got a chance to meet you. And really what brought me into the music space at a very young age was going to a Pink Floyd show when I was 11. Delicate Sounds of Thunder, Docklands Arena, 1989.
I was there.
I know. I still got my poster and my ticket stub. And really, being exposed to personally Pink Floyd at that young age really made me find and appreciate the interpretation that everyone has for music. And I really believe that kind of brought me into being such a music passionate guy today. I've had over 25 years in the music space, working at Universal and MTV, and we definitely speak the same language. So love how you interpret the Web3 and the music space. So just wanted to really give you guys flowers. And Scott, would love to talk to you about what we have going on at Shiller, but not now. And I love the podcast, So Much Alpha. And congrats, Megan, on those two massive podcasts.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on, Andrew. I absolutely love what Shiller is doing. I mean, just briefly, it's an app where you basically do a live stream, and musicians, from what I understand, can actually perform in high quality sound live, and they can token gate their concerts, the private music sessions, or anything they want to do, and sell things like digital assets within the app while the live stream is going without leaving the app. So it's absolutely pretty groundbreaking. We will have Shiller on another space because I really want you guys to learn more about what they do. But Andrew is the music guy, so I'm so glad that you pulled up to this space, Andrew. And then Kid, let's see, I don't see your whole name. Kid Clive Bunka, you had your hand up?
I did. I just wanted to commend you guys. This is a glorious point in time for artists. This is amazing. Just heard about Tune FM, just linked in, followed, and made a profile. Like I said, this is great for guys like me, little guys, like you said, just 50 people following you or 100. It's actually rekindled a fire to get us actually wanting to create content and wanting to put things in people's hands while also getting a little pat on the back as well. We're not looking to be millionaires here, but it always does feel good to get a little something in return. So I'm really excited about how this is gonna go forward, and I will certainly be along with the journey. So just wanted to commend you guys and really thank you and appreciate you for starting this new chapter in musical history.
Wow, you just gave me the chills. That was amazing. I mean, this is what it's about. It's about bringing the fire back. It's about bringing people's talents to light that couldn't shine previously because they weren't on the top of the Spotify catalog. Or this is just such an empowering movement, and that just made me so happy to hear that from you. And I can't wait to hear all the wonderful things you're going to put out into the world. And this, I mean, Spottie, Scott, Cassius, Emma, DJ Warrior, all of you guys are going to go down in history as the pioneers of this movement. And here we are sitting here having spaces together, the 24-hour cocktail party that is Twitter, as Scott would say. And it's just so special. So
That's what's I just wanted to say real quick, that's what's so great about this time is it reminds me back in the day when we were, when I was kind of part of the CD-ROM boom, we were hanging out, man, guys like, Mark Cuban was sleeping on the couches. And, it was like this period of time where we all got together. We get to hang, and this is like the most collaborative time because now I've got, like I said, I got almost a dozen of the top NFT guys building on top of my project right now. So I would never get that. Like a few years from now, you probably won't have these opportunities. So this is a great time for collaboration, great time to meet people and to actually start building together.
Oh, absolutely. It's just so exciting. It's just what you say. I mean, we're going to look back on this and think like, wow, this was the beginning of the movement, of everything that started it all. I mean, like I said, Spottie, Snoop got on and said that you got him involved and you inspired him. So it's the opposite now. And actually, I want to bring up a new point, and that I said a phrase a while back, and I said, this whole movement is happening from the inside out, not the outside in, meaning we are building from the inside of our community outside to the rest of the world, to the big brands, to the bigger artists who are looking to learn from us and this circle of people. So it's very cool. And I bring this up because my mom was listening, and she is very interested in learning about everything. And often my test to be like, is this easy enough? Are we communicating this well enough? What are we doing here? Are we reaching the outside world? And she said, wow, I really love that. I love the way that was phrased. And I have to say, Spottie, this one's for you. She was listening to our podcast that we did together in Hollywood at my studio there, and she actually saw me buy your NFT live, and she bought her first NFT, which was actually your music NFT. I believe it was the Believers song. And I wanted to pull her up just to ask her about that experience, because oftentimes we're talking here on Spaces and we don't know what it's like for people who are, beginners listening to this and watching this, and you really inspired her. So I'm going to try to pull her up if we can figure this out. Mom, go ahead and talk to us about your experience.
Hi, Megan. Hi, everybody. Scott, I just want to say I loved how you said being in the Web3 space made you feel 30 years younger, because it is, it is a renaissance. And I go with Megan to many of her conferences, and I love hearing everybody's story. It's fascinating, it's interesting, and I feel a part of the community. And you are right, it is a community. So for reference, I'm 65 years old. And I just, when I was listening to the podcast and I saw Megan get her NFT, during the podcast, I said, I need to figure this out. I need to get on board with this. And the whole thing about Web3 is onboarding people. So, I got my wallet, I bought some ETH, I downloaded OpenSea, found Spottie's NFT, and, it's now in my wallet. And it was my first NFT. So I feel like it's a big deal. And when I go with Megan to these conferences, everybody is so inclusive. So when they say, this is my mom, they're very excited about. And then the next thing they say is, my parents know nothing about what I'm doing, and they're just kind of not interested. And I thought, well, that's kind of sad. So I kind of feel with my generation and my age group, I'm getting it out there too, because I know it is the future. And I have fully supported Megan from the beginning. And so I just really appreciate everything that you're all doing. And I love art and I love music. And I'm totally on board with all of this.
Wow, that's amazing, Mom. Thank
Go
you for
mom!
sharing your
Go
story.
mom!
Yes,
I
this is
love
what we
this.
need, you guys. This is what we
I
need.
love this.
That's really amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you for the support too. Just as a creator, it means a lot. So thank you so much.
Well, I love hearing that, and I do support all of you. And like I said, it is so nice to hear all the stories. So, keep going, keep doing it.
Yeah, I think once people start to realize that the whole thing is about the ride, right? And that's what's so beautiful about this community is the ride is so much fun. And that's worth more than anything. it's worth more than the money you're going to make, more than anything. It's all that camaraderie, hanging with people, making stuff together, enjoying it. It's just it's an incredible space right now, no question.
Oh yeah, Cassius, did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I just want to highlight something that Spottie and Scott said earlier, about how you got to get out of it what you put into it. And that's part of the camaraderie. And that's what Web3 is about, right? It's read, write, and own. And so we get to have ownership. So you put in, you show love, you're going to get love back. And that's ever since in 2021 where I really got into it. That's all I've experienced this whole entire time. So I love showing love. And I appreciate everybody that's on here because you really do get out of it what you put into it. So let's just keep rocking.
And what's so great about this, real quick, is the little guy is the guy that's winning in this space. Truthfully,
exactly.
I mean, I actually consulted. I don't want to give the name, but it was a major player in the space, big sports figure, big, like as big as it gets, one of the top in the world, and was doing this event, and it was on television, Disney Channel, all this, and he's like, well. I got called in a week before to consult them on their NFT strategy. And I said, don't do it. They were like, oh, but we have to. We spent all this money. It's this big celebrity, blah, 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 blah. The thing dropped and they sold zero. They put $70,000 into the marketing. They did everything. And all of a sudden, another kid that nobody knows turns around and sells out his collection. So this isn't just about being big and having big names. In some ways, it can be a detriment because it's not looked at it the same way in the community. The people would much rather get behind somebody that's young. That's like I said, there's a 15-year-old kid. He sold out 3 drops already, right? And why? Because the people want to support them, because it's more than just being a celebrity and having. Now, that's not saying that some celebrities don't make it. Don't get me wrong, but this isn't about having millions and millions of people. We don't need them. We got the 24-hour cocktail party in our hand. We can go build ourselves a little audience and start doing drops. And all of a sudden start generating some revenue. The key is really learning the concept of tokenomics, storytelling, story. Everything about NFTs is about the story. That's why people buy it, the story, the utility around that story. So as artists, we need to start thinking more about how to be great storytellers, which all great artists really are at the end of the day. When you listen to the great music, the great lyrics, it's all about storytelling. So
Scott, I know I got to interject there. I know one of my favorite lines from our podcast was you said, it's not about what you say, what you play, it's about what you say. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not what you say. It's not what you play. It's what you say, which is the guys that can kill you with one note. Those are the real heroes. It doesn't mean you have to have a ton of chops, play a ton of stuff. It's just the soul behind it, right?
Yeah, that moment in time. No, that's super helpful. All that stuff that you're saying. I mean, it is the little guys. That is going back to working from the inside out. We're building the blocks here and we're helping the people that aren't in the Web3 circle get into it that way, and not like a mega brand just with everybody at the top making decisions for the masses, right? Like we are actively building this together as a community. So that's super cool.
Absolutely. One last one that I want to throw out there is what you stand for is more important than what you sell. And that's really where the value is. Those people that are standing for something to create a commercial movement is what we're talking about. You got to create a rally cry. And so what do people care about? They care about the story. That's why I always talk about, I teach this thing called SPACE, real quick: story, plan, army, conversion, education / execution. And everything is about the story. Once you figure that story out, and that story isn't like, hey, I'm a guitar player from Cincinnati and I grew up on a farm. Nobody really cares about that story. What do you stand for? What problem are you solving? We start thinking about that, especially when you're creating NFT collections. If there's a way to start helping solving problems, because what I love about NFTs, it's not so much about giving back anymore. We get to give forward, because that's where we can start including people, including things, and actually start making things happen. And it's beautiful because the blockchain will kind of handle all those transactions and make things happen for us.
Oh yeah, man, that's so powerful. I love what you said there about, it's what you stand for, and all of you here stand for, wanting to do better in this world and wanting to empower people who have creative abilities to step forward and shine the light on them. So thank you so much, Scott. And Emma, I'd love to hear from you. I don't know much about you either, but I'm so glad you joined, and I heard your voice, and it's absolutely beautiful. So welcome.
Hey, thank you. Really enjoying the chat. And this is a space I would actually direct so many new artists to. Like, I'm really glad this is a recorded space because I will save it in my bookmarks and just direct like new people to this. I agree with so much of the whole culture that is being shared here. Really agree with what Scott was saying of artists viewing what they're doing as a hobby or as a business. And I think both are so valid. Like, it is amazing to the years that I took a step back from music, I fell back in love with it. Or when I took a step back from the business side, I did like fall in love with music again because I was done with Spotify and being an indie artist, like grinding 2 jobs and all of that. And what the Web3 space has given me is what a lot of us have been talking about today, is the community, the grassroots movement. And to be honest, Twitter has been a game changer. Like, I had a dormant Twitter account for the last 5 years. And in the last like kind of 11, 12 months, having the social audio side has allowed me to tell my story. Like, I am not good at the highlights reel, at the curated kind of fake, non-authentic version of, I think, what you can start building as an artist profile. But coming into spaces and literally being able to turn up as myself to play a song and immediately have follow through from people, immediately have people that come from the audience and tap in with you, and you start chatting, you have a conversation, you build those relationships. And as everyone said, you establish kind of your hardcore base like nothing I've ever experienced before, because they've now seen under the machine. They've seen like who you are as a person, rather than this one-way conversation that you get with other social media where it's just a passive like, it's maybe a comment. It's a two-way conversation here, and that the depth of relationships that you can build in this space due to social audio has been a game changer for me. And just on the marketing side as well, I have paid for 0 marketing across the board and sold out the biggest collection from a UK artist to date. I've curated my own community through doing spaces every day, from performing every day, and actually embracing. It took me, my resistance as an artist was, I think, kind of what Scott was touching on, the business side. I was like, am I selling out if I try and do this thing? Whereas seeing, I've had a kind of inner revolution along with the music revolutions that were taking place, and I've never been so ambitious, bullish, and just excited to realize all of my creative dreams like for the first time. So that's, I just wanted to touch base with what everybody was saying and chime in, agree with the whole sentiment.
Oh my God, that is just so powerful.
awesome.
That is amazing, Emma. I mean, congratulations to you, girl. That was so inspiring. I mean, just even as a non-musician, as somebody listening into musicians' careers developing like this, music is a passion of mine, and man, just kudos to you. I mean, really, that is something truly extraordinary. So I like what you said about, the whole model, the whole social media element of this is always been whoever has the most followers and the most views and the most this and that, and now it's more back to like the meaningful part, where it's like you connect with people who like what you do and possibly like what you do, and you go from there, and everyone is supportive. It's a whole new dynamic, and that is changing the game.
Yeah, big time. This is where small audiences really matter, right? I teach everything. I tell everybody to go small. Go small. Do not go large. I'm a big lean startup. Lean startup principles are fantastic. And the lean canvas, a 9-page, a 9-word business plan, a 1-page business plan. Once you start learning these things, it starts making sense. You can now start to build a business very quickly with a very small group of people, because we now know too that the money is in the super fan. We know that now because we have access to data. It's something we never had before as artists. When I was growing up, I didn't have the access. Now we have the access to the data, and through that data, and that's why the story is so important. Once you get those words, those keywords, those things, you can growth hack, you can find your audience, and it's really just about building that small group that care about it. And we know that 60% of your revenue from the data will come from 1 to 3% of your audience. So if you've got 100,000 people on your Twitter following, it's really 1,000 to 2,000 people that really matter. Identify those people. We have the tools now. We can find them, create that relationship, and you're off to the races. And then once you build that model and where you can build a repeatable process around a small group of people, then you can scale right from there. So yeah, great time to be alive for the independent.
Yes. It is a great time to be alive for the independent, the indie artists, the people that are going to take back the power. This has been such a motivational, inspiring spaces. I am trying to keep it more toward the hour because I want to do these weekly. I want this to be like a masterclass. I want us to all input on how we can propel forward, how we can make this better. And I'm really excited to do that. And so as we kind of close up this session, I'd like to go around and just get advice, first of all, from Spottie and Scott and DJ Warrior, Cassius, all you guys for up and coming artists. You guys have all been able to make your mark here. Spottie, starting with you had the collaboration with Snoop Dogg. People really look up to you in this space. And I know we went over this on our podcast together, but what advice would you give to upcoming artists? Because I know one of the things we discussed was a lot of people are waiting to put the music out for the right time, for enough people, for whatever it may be, and they see you and they're like, man, how does he do that? How does he get so many collaborations? What would your advice be to them?
Well, first, Megan, I want to, congrats on launching the podcast. I want to thank you for hosting this great space and for sharing your platform. Everybody that's tuned in, I know I have a lot of friends and supporters that I see. Thank everybody for being here, and all the speakers, of course. I would say, sometimes it does make sense to wait. Maybe there's a good reason you're waiting to put your stuff out there, but I do think that probably 80% of the time, artists, we're very good at overthinking, and I think 80% of the time it's probably better if you just go ahead and get your music out there, put yourself out there, send that DM to that person that you want to connect with, send that tweet tagging them. Go to that live event, walk up to them, approach them. Just showing up is so much of life. So much of life is just showing up, putting yourself out there, exposing yourself to the potential for rejection. Like, people are going to tell you no. Your music, your art, it's not going to be for everyone, and that's fine. Every no is really a gift. If you really process what Scott is saying and what we've been talking about with the 1,000 true fan theory, then like every single person that doesn't love your art, that's a blessing, because that person, you just learned that person might not be part of your 1,000, so you can go find the next person that might be part of your 1,000, So I would say just put yourself out there. When it comes to NFTs right now, I would say study the people that are having success. Study Emma, study Sammy Arriaga, study Violetta, study Josh Savage, study all the artists that are top artists on the big platforms, the big music NFT platforms, and just see what's working for them, see what they're doing, and but remember, there's no rules. There are literally no rules. You can innovate, you can do something, you can try something that no one's ever done before. And when you do that, a lot of people aren't going to get it until you are successful. I had a lot of people that when I told them what I was planning to do in August of 2021, they thought, good luck. That sounds like a lot of work with no payoff. Like, literally, people would tell me that sort of thing. So, just embrace the uncertainty that comes with this space, and just something a little more concrete or tangible. For me personally, just to share my own perspective right now, even though a lot of people know me as somebody who sold a bunch of NFTs, right now I'm really not focused on selling NFTs. Right now, because we're in a slower market, I'm thinking of NFTs more as a way to build community. if I can get my NFTs into your wallet, into as many wallets as possible, then I'm building a new connection point, a wallet to wallet connection with new people. And so I'm actually giving away a lot of NFTs right now. So I encourage anyone that maybe is intimidated by trying to sell NFTs, maybe put something out there very, very low cost, or put something out there for free. Study POAPs, proof of attendance protocol. I think that could be a good starting point for a lot of artists.
Wow, there's just so much to unpack there in what you said, Spottie. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
That wallet to wallet connection, we also discussed, Scott. And by the way, you're now in my mom's wallet. Just one more super fan of yours. And it's and it's just like all the stuff that you said that you unpacked. I like it. You said one phrase that was like, you quoted Kanye, I didn't always have hot beats. And it's like, not everybody likes my raps, but there's 1,000 people that do. And that is just so, I think with you, the headlines are so catchy about like, wow, just under $200,000 in 60 seconds. I mean, that's a great way to reel artists in, to get them to understand that there's possibilities here, but then they really dig down deeper into what you are doing and who you are. And it's absolutely fantastic. You're providing so much value to your followers and to your fans and to people who are interested in your music, and you're paving the way. You're a true trailblazer, and it's about just doing things even when people don't get it, and just, like keep on grinding and keep on doing it, keep on building that wallet to wallet connection that we discussed, Scott, and we'll segue to you now because I want to hear your closing advice. But for Spottie, I know you have some dance music coming up that you're working on, and any future things that you're working on that you want to tell us about right now?
Yeah. I have a music video where Cassius is one of the stars of my music video. That song is called "Do You Get It," featuring DJ Malski. That's off my album, which is out right now. I have an album that just dropped about a month or so ago.
Get it on Jam.
It's called The King's Alpha. You guys can check that album out on Spotify. And then I have a lot of new dance music that I'm going to be putting out this summer, starting probably in July. So look out for that.
You ain't got nothing if you ain't got no jam.
Awesome. Yeah, man, Spottie's, I'm a fan. I think I'm like the reason for like so many of half your streams, maybe. Not really. I listen to like some songs on repeat when I run sometimes. Spottie is like, the coolest. And I'm so excited for your collab with Cassius. That's going to be fun. So follow Spottie, guys. Check out his NFTs, support him. He has been a real amazing force in this space. So now I want to segue to Scott for your closing advice, and just to let people know what you're working on for up and coming near future.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to do this real quick. Here's my advice. Number one, you need to get educated. Just like Gary Vee says, you need to get out there and put that 30 to 40 to 50 hours of educating yourself. You got YouTube, you got Google, you got everything.
You got Jam.
You just got to go make it happen. So first thing I'm going to say is a couple things. First, there's a formula that I call SPACE: story, plan, army, conversion, education / execution. It's all about the story. If you're going to do a drop, figure out the story. What's the value proposition? Go learn about tokenomics, how you can create value and experience for people. The plan is really go to leanstack.com, leanstack.com. There you can have access to the Lean Canvas, which is a one-page business plan. The beauty of the Lean Canvas, it doesn't only tell you what you're going to do, it's going to tell you what you're not going to do, because the goal of one of the premises of Lean Startup and the whole thing is to do the smallest thing you can do that's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. So you determine that. You want to fail fast. If your idea doesn't work, you want to jump out, repivot, get yourself going. But the idea is to get educated. So I really recommend the Lean Canvas, a great tool there. Second thing is army. Build your influencer army. Start with the influencers. Everything starts with influence, right? So if I've got a handful of people that are talking about me and about my drop, that's better than me out there trying to pound the pavement every day. So find those super fans. Build that influencer army first. Then learn what conversion funnels are. How do I convert? See, the conversion funnel, very well-defined process. Google conversion funnels, and then back to the education, because all those things I just talked about, you need to get educated. So put the time in and start learning. One of the other things that I think is really important that I've learned is you don't want to put out an NFT. You want to build a wait list. Build a wait list first. Come up with your story, put together the tokenomics, come up with it and get people to buy into it. Get out there, start getting your people to sign up to your list, because the goal is you don't want to put out something if you're going to go that all of a sudden doesn't get any traction, if people don't see any traction. So building that list, getting people excited about what you're going to drop, that is the way to go. That's how you sell out a list, because if you sell it out right out of the gate, it starts getting people excited about what you're doing. So those are the things that I would worry about. And everything is about execution. If you do not execute, it's all just, it doesn't matter. So get educated, go from that. That's my advice to the artists there. And like Spottie said, get out there and start learning from other people what their drops, what is working, right? I always try to figure out, I mean, what is I always call it the ice bucket challenge. It has a viral coefficient of 1. What is your thing to get your word out there? So this is a place where, as music artists, you want to collaborate with visual artists. You want to create new kinds of content, new experiences, and things that you can build on top of these NFTs. Okay, and so what am I doing real quick? I'll throw this out. We just launched our NFT platform called Loot 8. And Loot 8 is an experience wallet platform that solves 3 problems: onboarding any brand, and very simply. Second of all, onboarding anybody from Web 2 very simply with just an email or one of your social sign-ons. And 3, it's building all the communications into it. But it's really about live experiences, tying physical world experiences with physical goods, digital goods, in an experience wallet that's all it's aware. It's a geo-fenced wallet that allows for us to create experiences using NFTs, gating communities and building it. And so we're launching that. And then I was lucky as one of the 222 artists that is picked for this moon launch that's coming up. So I have a whole series of art and NFTs that are actually going to the moon coming up here in the summertime on a Falcon 9 rocket, which is going to be pretty exciting. I'm sure there's probably some of these guys. I don't know if Spottie's in on that too, but it's really cool because it's really the art, the Web3 people that are getting to go to the moon first, which is kind of cool. So I have that. And then I have a Rock Money collection we're launching. So I have a bunch of things. I'm part of Synthopia, which is another coming out on crypto.com in a few weeks, being dropped. And building like crazy on top of the Shiba Inu community, which is on fire right now. So we're having some fun, and it's exciting times. And thank you very much, Megan, for having me on your show. You know I love you to death, girl. She's one of my favorite peeps. I'm just going to tell everybody. She's so savvy in this space. And on top of it, I love her because she's a free thinker. And that's what we need more than anything is free thinking right now. Get out of the matrix. Get out of the freaking matrix right now, because it's going to make us all crazy. So anyway, thank you very much, Megan, for hosting this and having me on your early first podcast with
Yes.
Spottie.
Oh
What
man,
an
that was
honor.
so much fun, and thank you so much for being on it, Scott. You're just such a force as well. I mean, you bring that big energy. You just can't help but get really into what you're talking about, and it's just so amazing all the value you're providing for the community. And one of the most important things is having a powerful mentor mindset, being around people who want to win, who are out there to really
Yes.
do this thing. And Scott has had some mentors along the way. Playing for a band like Pink Floyd. You have mentors like Quincy Jones and Michael Smotherman. Our episode is absolutely fantastic. So everyone here should go and check that out.
Yeah, I can't wait to check it out. I never listen to these things, but because I do
Oh,
a ton
you've
of
got
them,
to
but
listen.
I'm going to listen to this one because it was with you.
Let me tell you, Scott, it is amazing. It's so cool. Actually, the intro has some of Scott's earlier days playing the sax. There's a lot of cool animations and things that Scott's talking about, and the way you break it down. I mean, it's just so knowledgeable. Like I said, these spaces could be a masterclass. Your guys' podcast, your and Spottie's, could be a masterclass. So guys, everyone here listening, go and check it out. It's on my YouTube, Crypto Megan. The link is in my bio. Go show some love to these guys. They're really, really putting it out there to help people along their journey. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much, Megan. One of the things I just wanted to say to you, we should think about a show that's really focused on tokenomics. So we could basically focus on people that are doing things and how they're doing it, how they're setting up their contracts, how they're actually making this happen. because that's really where the metal meets the road, right? I mean, it's the rubber meets the road at that point, is really how do we use NFTs in unique ways to build businesses on top of. Anyway, that's my
Yeah, the actual practical information that people need to understand to be able to hit the ground running. I think that's a
yeah,
great idea, and we
yeah,
need to do more structuring like that. Where it's like partly motivation and learning from your experiences, but also okay, let's get our hands dirty. Let's get hands on. Like, how do we do this? How do we do this properly so we get the traction? So we don't make the mistakes that maybe other people have made and they've already learned from them. So
yeah,
Scott,
absolutely.
you're a legend in the space, and I'm really honored
Well,
to have you on here. So thank you so much.
thank you.
Yeah, and I guess Cassius, did you want to have any closing
Yeah,
remarks, advice? I know you're really getting in there. You're everywhere.
I've got some advice. So first of all, everyone definitely should watch Megan's podcast. I love how you came out the gate swinging with artists. But one of the things that Spottie touched on that I think is very important, as advice goes, is innovation. We're in the space of the most creative is going to get the most attention. And like, for example, Spottie Wi-Fi, we didn't really mention on this call yet, but one of the reasons why his NFT drop did so successfully is because he had generative sound. He's the first one to do generative sound when everyone else is doing generative art, like visuals. He did generative sound. That's groundbreaking. You know what I mean? Like, it's going down in history. You know what I mean? So that innovation is what, as an artist, as a musician, was different than what all the other musicians are doing. What I'm doing on my show, Pop and Crypto, is it's an interview show where I interview founders and CEOs of Web3 projects, but I write a custom song, like a custom rap song about every project who comes on my show. Every, whether it be their project or it be a Web3, type of business, whatever the case may be, you get a custom theme song when you come on Pop and Crypto. You know what I mean? This year I've been doing music videos. So I did a couple at CES, for example. So we're always trying to think outside the box. I think those are the things that get the most attention in the space, is being innovative with your art, with your creativity. And how does that make it Web3? How are you going to incorporate that on the blockchain? I haven't even really done a grandiose NFT drop because I'm waiting for the right time for the right people. I've got a quick one coming up with AJ Writes Crypto. You guys might know him from BitBoy's channel. We've got a song. You guys probably didn't know he raps, but he got bars. So we got a song called Pay Me in .algo. So I'm trying to be more innovative on a different chain than what other people are trying to do. So when that music video drops, it's going to be big. We're going to give away some Algorand NFTs with it. So always trying to be innovative and pushing forward. That's my advice.
Wow, thanks, man. Cassius, you're amazing. Go follow the show, Pop and Crypto. By the way, I think you should make a song out of you gotta show love to get love.
I
Like
agree.
something like that.
That's Web3 right there. So for sure.
Yeah, for sure. No, you're really amazing. I can't wait to hear your collab with Spottie. So thanks for jumping on. Emma and Andrew, DJ Warrior, you guys have anything else, any other final thoughts to add as we wrap up?
Yeah, I wanted to thank you for having me, and just wanted to mention that I know Emma came up and is doing great things in the UK, and we also have a UK artist, Luciana, who's a 9-time #1 Billboard EDM artist from the UK, who's doing a drop on our platform. And I know we talked a lot about onboarding as well and education. And we really want to just break down the barrier to entry and make it super easy for non-crypto natives, non-degens, just music fans, super fans to be able to join. So you can easily sign up on tune.fm with an email and password, and we do all the sophisticated crypto stuff under the hood, like set up your non-custodial wallet and have private key recovery and give you an airdrops of jams so you can get going. So I just wanted to put that out there that we make it super easy for everyone, especially minting NFTs. We make it really easy. You can just sort of learn as you go. So, it's another approach, and happy to work with any of the artists who are here listening. I saw a kid, Clive Bunko, over here during this space actually already signed up and made their NFT drop on Tune FM, just to highlight how straightforward and easy it is to do. And so we're helping artists monetize their super fans in ways like never before, so they can earn 100 times more than Spotify in their streaming, and also generate even more than that with their NFT drops. So thanks for having me again, and happy to collaborate with anyone here. My DMs are open.
Amen. We got to make it easy and power back to the people and the artists. I love it. Thank you so much, Andrew. DJ Warrior, do you have some closing thoughts?
Yes. I mean, a lot of things that I want to say, basically, Scottie, Cassius, and Tune FM and Spottie said it. Obviously, learn the technology, learn how NFT works, how you can freak it according to your, whatever your needs and wants and whatever you're trying to achieve. And I'll just keep it as concise as possible. Develop a unique style, like Cassius says. Like Spottie came with generative music while generative art was blowing up, right? To develop a unique style, build a strong online presence, like basic stuff that we all know. Collaborate, like we're collaborating, kind of sort of like collaborating here, network, you know, like polish your live performance, your virtual performance. Don't worry about being perfect. Just put it out. Build, and constantly improve your skill, right? Like seek for feedback from everyone. Embrace constructive criticism, you know, things like that. You know, like, and as you are building those things, try to build a solid team around you so you can grow even bigger, whatever you're trying to achieve, right? And just stay dedicated, stay committed, and stay present. And that's the only way. From my past experience, 20 years in music business, that's what I've learned working with a lot of people that I've seen go from zero to hero. And just stay consistent and just build that unique fan base. Because in this Web3 ecosystem, you have the opportunity to do that, pretty much, you know? And all these platforms are so much better than Spotify, et cetera, because they have a better system for you to, you know, earn more with your art, you know, whatever that is. That's it, pretty much. First of all, Megan, thank you. And first of all, I want to thank all you guys for connecting with all of you. So, yeah, it's just amazing to be here. It's a beautiful day. It's a Monday, so let's rock and roll, you know?
Oh yeah, starting that Monday off strong. I love this. I love starting the week that way. So thanks for dropping your alpha too. It was so great to get to know you on this 24-hour Twitter cocktail party. So thank you for joining the show. I'm going to definitely check out your work. And yeah, being present is so important. You're all here for it. So that's amazing. Emma, some final closing thoughts?
Yes, I will keep it short because I agree with everything that's already been said. But yeah, I think if I can contribute anything, it would be to keep supporting the arts, keep supporting music, keep supporting art of all kind. We've acknowledged how broken the system is in Web 2 for artists, despite it still being great for discoverability and all of those things and reasons to use it. It is so broken. Like some of your favorite artists will never see the light of day because it just is not a viable model. So the world would be so crap without music, without artists, and this is such a revolution. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing and backing artists. And just to you as well, Megan, like thank you so much for doing exactly that, like for shining a light, hosting this kind of space, having such a great diverse group of people up here as well. Yeah, that's what I wanted to contribute. I will shout out one last thing, which is I host spaces on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7:30 a.m. EST, bright and early. And I'm kind of switching gears on a Wednesday to have it much more educational on the technology front. I think there's lots of music spaces. Friday is an open mic space, but on a Wednesday I've had people coming up and in layman's terms try to get the explanation of the blockchain down to like an elevator pitch and see how many different versions of that elevator pitch we can create to just to onboard and to be clear and make it approachable. But yeah, thank you so much.
Wow, great job on putting those initiatives up. Too bad we missed your spaces this morning. I guess it's already later on today, but thank you for jumping on here. We'll definitely have to check out your spaces. And guys, Andrew, did you have one last thing to say?
Yeah, just want to, pick up on what Spottie was saying about failure. And if you learn from a failure or a mistake, don't consider that a failure. And I always look at Web3 for music as an and execution, not an or. So still continue everything that you're doing, but try and incorporate Web3 into your strategy. Thank you for hosting. Look forward to connecting with a bunch of you guys soon. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. It's been so amazing. This has just been so jam-packed, full of value. I absolutely love this. We're going to start doing this weekly. I will actually be hosting a space with Charles Hoskinson probably at the end of this week or beginning of next. So just trying to do my part, like all of you guys here, to provide as much value as possible. So again, thank you for putting it out there, for being here, for showing up. I mean, you guys are making the magic happen, and you're the reason why we're moving forward and propelling the space forward. All of your vital force and energy. Thank you to everybody for being here, and we will reconvene next week. Love you all. Have an amazing week.
Thank you, Crypto Megan. We love you, girl. Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you, Megan.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You're such a great host. I mean, you're just like
Thanks so much,
good on
Scott.
the microphone. You make us all look so good. Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Thank you for coming on. See you guys next week.